I wanna get your mind on, yeah. 친구들과 나의 역을 떠, yeah. 빨간 다리 위에 차는 skyscraper. 남 사이로 돌아와 난 get fucked. I wanna get your mind on, yeah. 친구들과 나의 역을 떠, yeah. 빨간 다리 위에 차는 skyscraper. 남 사이로 돌아와 난 get fucked, yeah. 나무 사이, 높아 like, yeah. 금색 커피, oh yeah.
Well, it seems like I brought the wind with me from Iceland. It just won't quit. You know, I got nice sunny days here, and I'd like to be out there laying the glass on the sides of the halls, but I can't. It just takes 10 times as long if I'm gonna try and do it in this wind, and usually I end up failing and doing a really bad job. So I'm not gonna risk it. I'm gonna wait for the conditions to be just right, learn my lessons in the zen of fiberglass, and just do what I can right now, which is sanding. I can sand.
Hey, fluid, cashback.
All right, well, this marks the end. We've got all the paint finally off this boat. Finally, it's been 2 years now, and I've removed the last chunk of ugly, choppy, gross paint. Still have plenty of rot and plywood that needs to come off, but the beams need to come up before I can do that, so at least the paint's off. I want to introduce you guys to a friend of mine that you've met a few times before in the videos, but he's going to play a much bigger role coming up.
Do I need to put it up on an episode?
So you guys have met Brock before in the videos. Brock of Champ sitting fame. He lives out in Tofino as an avid, you've done the van dwelling life before, and
yeah, I think you got me into it.
I got you into it, now I'm getting you into something else.
Yeah.
But Brock is the new proud owner of Mike's boat, Rain and Blues. And
so excited.
Now you're jumping on this adventure, and we're hoping, so we're gonna put his Instagram link in the description, and he's gonna post a lot of progress photos constantly, and you guys are going to shame him into getting a lot of work done and coming out here as often as possible.
Hopefully you're there for me. I'll need the encouragement.
Well, anyways, right now he's painting up and fixing his dinghy, because that's the first thing you got to do, is a means of transport to land. So we've patched 4 holes in this bugger, and now you got a nice solid bottom and ready to scrape it up. Yes!
A lot of fucking scallywags that ain't worth shit and shouldn't be on the water. And if you're recording this, take my word. Yeah. The wake makers, you gotta go the other way. The jerks that are coming up from the States in their big power boats, they don't abide by the law out there. They add straight for you, because you got pretty sails out and you got 3 wings and you look funnier than the rest of the mono hulls. But, they don't give you any time there. The whole boat does a wiggy waggy and you lose your course.
All right, I hope Brock really enjoys the Blues. It is a cool little trimaran, and honestly, if it wasn't for this project and the fact that I've invested so much time and effort already into this boat, I would really just take that thing, because it can be sailed today. Like, we just took it out for a test run, and Brock seemed to love it. Didn't really understand where or how the sails were going, but I'm sure he'll figure it out eventually, and we're gonna do some hard work on it. Speaking of hard work, remember when I said I was done sanding? I lied. Melly and I have taken out the port side windows already. We're gonna go move over to the starboard side, where there are just 2 windows to take out, so it should be a little bit quicker. But basically, they're just like these cheap plastic windows that I had looked at just like replacing because they were falling apart. But then I was like, well, it'd be really nice to have airflow in those berths, so that, you know, when I get to warmer waters, that I can just be nice and cool without running the air conditioning all the time. And then I was like, well, you know, that's kind of expensive. Like, the bronze ones were like $200 or $300 each. And I found these, well, we'll get to it in a second, but let's just go and remove these damn windows so we can finish the sanding, so we can mount our new ones.
사람들이 바꿔 이런 모습 피해서 너와 다른 여자들 나 신경 안 쓰는 태도로 일관해 내가 사고를 낼 때까지
Okay.
무너질 때까지
Got it. All right. Wicked. One down, 95 more to go.
Hello.
Are you having fun yet, Melly?
Yes, lots of fun.
You like this, right? So much fun, right?
Hey, let's get on the next one.
All right, all right. Oh yeah, okay. Ba-da-ba-ba. You want this? No, I'll take it. It's mine now. Hey,
I want the forky tool.
forky tool. Here, you can have a forky tool.
Windows.
Windows. Not Mac, but Windows. Because we're running Windows in this boat. So, just want to show it off. These are just regular porthole windows, but I got them in black to match the color of the boat.
Cool.
The boat will be dark blue,
Deeper, yeah, I see.
so it'll be what I really like about them. So this is actually the inside facing side, right?
Oh.
And you open it up, you get this nice breeze outside, and you have a drain in here. But look at the size of this gasket. Yeah. And look how thick the window is.
Yeah, no.
It's like a 10 mil window.
Hers are much better.
Yeah. You know how much this window cost?
$40?
20 bucks.
20 bucks.
20 bucks instead of 300. Not bad, huh? And I'm starting to notice there's a lot of components on a boat that, despite what the old guys say, plastic is better. Now, seeing a lot of old port windows, especially aluminum ones, stainless steel ones on other people's boats, and they're just pitted and rusted and corroded to all get out. It doesn't happen on the plastic ones, but they give out in their own special way too eventually. But we're gonna chance it. We're gonna try it out. I'll let you know how it goes.
Again, how you gonna check it out?
I'll let you know how it goes 10 years from now. All right, so now we got the windows clear. Honey, what are you eating? Leave it alone. Leave it alone. So next step is to sand off some caulking and some paint. Huh? Who's there?
Who is it, honey? Who's there? Who's there? Who is it? She's gonna come up?
There. It's pretty hard to put your head out there. It's too small. What did you bring?
I brought 2 tin hats from town site in Colorado, which I've never had. So I can genuinely say when we open them, I have no idea what that tastes like.
Every episode.
Well, I do.
Honey, stay.
Sorry,
You're
honey.
staying behind.
Sorry, honey.
Stay. All right, it's the end of the day. I'm joined here by Peter. So Adventures with Jordy.
Travels.
Travels with Jordy. I should know, I'm wearing the damn t-shirt. Anyway, we just did a little bit of an interview on, whoa, here we go.
I think we had 2 more speeds.
No, that's top
max.
speed. So what do you think of the trolling motor?
I'm gonna say it's not twice as fast.
Yeah, not twice as fast.
I mean, I don't know, we'd have to put an ammeter on it to say if it's twice as fun, but it's faster.
Yeah.
You know what it is? Quieter.
Is
It's
it
a
really
better
quiet?
machine. Mine kind of rattles.
Okay, so he's got a 32-pound thrust trolling motor. This is the 62 pounds, the largest 12-volt one you can get. And yeah, so it's 1 horsepower. We're moving pretty good. I'd say we're doing 2.5 knots, 3 knots.
Come on, let's lie. It's the internet.
Oh yeah, we can lie. We're doing 7 knots. All right. We're gonna go over and check out not your boat, but a boat very similar to Peter's boat that he came in on, and it's absolutely gorgeous. So I'm gonna give you the tour anyway.
1/3 more than I did.
Okay, not bad. I'm surprised.
The halting it, right?
I suppose you're right. Hey Griffin. Oh, you're so pretty. So those of you unfamiliar with beautiful West Coast wooden trawlers, this is a 1954 Monk. Now monks are as common as they gets out here on the West Coast, but that doesn't make them any less pretty. Griffin, okay, let me improve.
We can collaborate on whatever.
All right, Peter, give it to us.
54 Monk. Ideally, they were set up really for weekend cruising boats, so they weren't really set up ideally for liveaboards, but they're such big boats, there's so much room on them that they're ideal for liveaboards. So there used to be a dinette back here. I pulled that out and put in a double bed. Basically the same deal I did on my boat. This galley is original. Sorry about the quick spin there, Sam. Stainless. Come on, stainless. So sexy. It had a big Dickinson in it. Diesel burner, smoky. Got rid of that. Went for propane. And then up in the wheelhouse. Basically, this is the joy of these boats. These massive wheelhouses with all this glass. Now, this is, you know, sailboats would dream of this kind of visibility and stuff like that. And being a sailor as I was young, I felt a little bad about moving on to a motorboat, but all this visibility is just too damn nice. All Honduran mahogany, red cedar above the waterline, yellow cedar below. These boats were handmade, and these are the last generations of really amazingly well-built handmade boats. This one is particularly in good shape. Forecastle on this boat is kind of tiny. I don't know what you're going to see, Simon, down there. Basically, it's 2 basically berths, single berths. It's just like a little itty-bitty cabin.
And it's big enough that you can have actual furniture.
Actual furniture.
So Peter actually comes from a background of traveling similar to what I have, and you've done a lot with beautiful, it's a Land Cruiser, Land Rover, man. Land Rover. So beautiful Land Rover overlanding, lots of videos on that. So of course that piqued my interest because not only is he doing like boat building and boat sailing and motoring and all this other stuff around my neck of the woods, which is really cool. So if you're wanting to see this area before I actually get out there, you should go check out his channel because he's actually already been out there. But on top of that, he's seen and done a lot of the same kind of overlanding that I've done. So our background is similar, our focus is similar, and it's really nice to hang out with another guy who's just as crazy as I am. I'll leave a link to the description. You can check out Peter's channel. It's Travels with Jordy. Here's the t-shirt. All right, another day. Still wearing yesterday's t-shirt. So you know I'm getting grubby. Running the water maker, and we are back at work on the portholes. It's all part of the get the boat sealed up before this summer ends so that I can heat it properly and not be miserable. Alright, now just because I don't like to film too much while I'm working because then I don't get enough work done, I'm going to focus right now on my aft port side berth because I think it's a good analogy for every other problem I have going on in the boat right now. So we've got the porthole dry fitted, and as you can see, it's not laying flat. The reason for that is you have a yellow cedar stringer right here. Now, this yellow cedar stringer is just the right depth to get this window running just the right spot. So what I'm doing is adding these plates here, and they will attach from this stringer up to the corner stringer, which I think is called a, it's got a nice name. I can't remember off the top of my head right now. Leave it in the comments. I'm sure I'll get filled in eventually. And then lastly, another piece along the top here. That'll make a nice, stiff, water resistant yellow cedar and then epoxy coated seal for the window, because the portholes tend to leak eventually. That's usually the first place to go. So I want to make sure that everything around it is rot proof kind of thing. And because I just have a little bit of this yellow cedar lying around, this is the good stuff. All right, we got square bits of yellow cedar in there. Rounded corners on the windows, but should still do the trick. All right. This was the original window size. This is the new window size. Now I just need to get a little bit of plywood to fill in this void here and epoxy that in, give it a nice clean sand job, and then we can finally glass all the way up and fill epoxy in right here along the grain so that it's nice and watertight, even though I will also be using some putty in there to watertight it. So, you know, just redundancies on redundancies. Over here. All right, this job over here was a little bit messy, but we had that rot section. I removed the guide for the beam, and it actually, look at the amount of air gap I have there between the hull and that beam. So I'll be dropping this beam down a bit, and as I drop the beam down, hopefully it'll, you know, just make getting around this boat a little bit easier. But it also means my motors are going to drop that much further, and they're like exactly the same height as my keel, so that's a bit of a bummer. Hey honey, what you got there? All right, so I got the forward portholes here. Honey's over there by the aft ones. Of course, the main berth here still has these great big windows. That's not going to stick around. I'm going to go and actually knock these out shortly and add frames, but I think I'm going to do it a bit differently than I did over here, because these ones needed very little modification. These ones are going to need a lot. One of the stringers been cut in here, and I don't like that at all. So I think I'm going to open it up and like just really reinforce this whole area with some pretty stiff stuff, because this is really the biggest wall on the boat. This is the main chunk of the hull. If there is a weak section on my hull, this would be it. So I really want to get in there and make it as strong as I can. All right, so the spacing has worked out really, really well. I have about ½ a centimeter all the way around here, just protruding just a bit, which is about the thickness of the plastic that's gonna go 1/4 inch, and it'll fit in there. This one needs to be laid a little bit more flat. Still having problems with the fit. It's a very tight little spot, but I think once it's bolted in, it'll lay a little bit flatter. What is pressure? Whew. Okay, I'll figure this out eventually. All right, I'm gonna finish off today's episode here. We picked up some Sikaflex. We're gonna Sikaflex those windows in shortly, but I gotta go finish the other 4 that I've cut out so far, and then eventually I gotta get to these ones. I'm kind of waiting for a weather window. It's not been very predictable lately, and there's a lot of gaps in today's episode because of all the rain, which is still leaking in. Yeah, a lot more work to do. Thanks for watching. Good night.